The story begins by introducing our protagonist, Rei Hitoma, an adult whose main habit is spending long hours playing video games. While he is deeply focused on a match, his mother walks into his room and scolds him for shouting so loudly. She complains that all he ever does is play games, and that he still has not found a new job, even though it has already been 2 years since he left his last one. Worried about him, she asks if he has lost interest in teaching. She acknowledges how difficult things were for him back then, yet her concern pushes her to bring it up again. When Rei stays completely silent and avoids answering, she quietly steps out of the room. Because of this conversation, Rei begins searching for a job where he does not have to interact with many people. While browsing through listings, he finds an advertisement offering work in a peaceful environment located in the mountains. Excited, Rei feels like it matches exactly what he wants. The listing mentions full insurance and access to hot springs, which catches his attention. But his enthusiasm fades when he notices that the job is for a teaching position at Cheoi's school, an all-girls school. Even so, once he sees that they are specifically looking for someone with human qualities who shows genuine dedication towards students, Rei decides to apply anyway. The next day, Rei arrives in a densely forested area. Unsure if he is in the right place, he checks the map the school mailed to him. When he opens the envelope, he discovers another envelope tucked inside, which surprises him since he does not remember seeing a second one before. Inside the orange envelope, he finds a ring. After slipping the ring onto his finger, he studies the map again and notices that it shows a path next to the bus stop marked by a large cherry blossom tree. Rowan is confused because he did not see any such tree moments earlier. However, when he lifts his head, the path and the cherry blossom tree suddenly appear, almost as if they materialized out of nowhere. Choosing not to question this strange event, Rei continues into the forest. After walking for some time, he reaches the school. The moment he steps inside, a man greets him with a polite good morning and nervously asks if he is the new teacher. Ryo confirms this. The man welcomes him to the school and introduces himself as Satoru Hoshino, the math teacher. As Satoru leads Ryo inside, he mentions that he heard Ryo is joining them as the new social studies teacher. Ro nods and explains that he taught social studies for 4 years at his previous school. While they walk through the entrance hall, Ro notices several jars displayed along the walls. Satoru explains that these jars are unique to their school, which makes Roe curious, although he chooses not to ask further questions. When they reach the teacher's lounge, they are greeted by a woman with light blue hair named Yuki Saotome. The science teacher welcomes Rei with a cheerful attitude, takes his hand, and tells him he can simply call her Yuki. He repeats her name politely, but she suddenly moves closer to his face, gently brushes her hand along his cheek, and then steps away while saying he had an eyelash stuck there. The interaction is undeniably strange and leaves Rei confused. Satoru then asks Yuki if she thinks behaving that intimately with someone she just met is appropriate. Yuki apologizes and explains that Rei simply caught her attention. After apologizing for the awkward moment, Yuki tells Rei that the principal is waiting for him in his office. Once Rei drops off his backpack, he is shown standing nervously in front of the principal's door. Even though he feels tense, he remembers the principal as a polite and humble older man. That memory makes him unsure of himself, and he quietly admits that it is surprising he was chosen for this position. Still, he refuses to run away. Since the opportunity was given to him, he decides he will meet the principal's expectations. Gathering his courage, he knocks on the door and steps inside, introducing himself properly. When he finally lifts his head, he freezes. The person standing before him looks nothing like the elderly man he met earlier. The principal welcomes him to the school, and a stunned Rei immediately blurts out a question about the old man's identity. The principal introduces himself as Karasuma, the head of the school. Rei refuses to believe him and demands to see the older man he previously met. Karasuma calmly explains that the elderly appearance was only a disguise. Since Rei still looks confused, Karasuma elaborates that the school uses a special spell to determine which humans are suitable for their environment. The spell makes him appear as a refined and attractive man, but that illusion is no longer active. He also explains that a similar protective illusion surrounds the school itself, preventing outsiders from ever locating it. The ring on Rei's finger contains a gem that cancels that illusion, which is why he was able to see the hidden path earlier. Karasuma adds that the school houses many unusual students, which is why so much camouflage is necessary. In simple terms, he tells Rei that the students are not human. They include cat girls, dragon girls, elves, mermaids, and others from non-human species. The school's purpose is to teach these beings what it means to be human. Karasuma explains that each student has personal reasons for wanting to become human, but the transformation is far from easy. Because of this, teachers at the school carry far greater responsibility than those working in normal institutions. After saying this, he calls Rai by name and asks whether he is willing to teach at the school. Rini hesitates for a moment, but driven by his desire to change himself, he accepts. Karasuma begins explaining the curriculum. It includes general education, similar to what is taught in human schools. Then there is a course on human nature and humanity where students learn how to feel, think, and behave like humans. Any action considered not human results in point deductions that appear on their report cards. Another course covers social skills and relationships, where students learn how to communicate, work together, and show empathy, which forms the basis of human interaction. This section is evaluated by classmates. Each student has a jar placed near the entrance, and other students can contribute points to it. Classes are divided into beginner, intermediate, and advanced levels. Only students who meet the required standards at the end of the term can move forward, or they can graduate and become human. The next day, Ray arrives at the school for his very first day of teaching. Before stepping inside, he prepares himself to appear strict yet kind. When he opens the classroom door, he is taken aback by the sight of an entire room filled with semi-human students. Trying to put aside the shock, he introduces himself as the tutor of the advanced class and explains that he is responsible for teaching them how to become human. He also adds that he enjoys video games and fantasy. After his introduction, he asks whether anyone has questions. An orange-haired girl raises her hand and asks if he has a girlfriend. Ronan tells her not to hit him with such a painful and predictable question, admitting that of course he does not. Hearing this, a pink-haired girl remarks that he will probably end up chasing after one of them. Ray immediately clarifies that he is not that kind of person. After the brown-haired girl asks if he might be interested in someone like Minazuki since he clearly does not seem interested in the pink-haired girl, Ray grows tired of the teasing and tells them to stop viewing him as a threat. He promises that he will not do anything inappropriate. Moving past the jokes, he asks them to introduce themselves properly. The first to step forward is the orange-haired Tobari Haneda, a two-headed shrike whose dream is to become human so she can create music. Next is Sui Usami, a rabbit girl who wants to become human so she can repay the kindness a human once showed her. The third is the light blue-haired Kyoka Minazuki, a mermaid who wishes to become human so she can dance. Lastly, there is Isaki Ogami, a wolf girl who wants to become human so she can end the incomplete existence she experiences as a werewolf. After listening to their reasons, Ray grows thoughtful. Tabari asks if he feels afraid of them because they are not human or if he finds them unpleasant. Ray replies that he does not feel that way at all, even though meeting real demi-humans is a huge surprise. Instead, he says he is actually happy. He admits that he always believed demi-humans were fictional, so discovering that they truly exist feels exciting to him. Tobari asks if that is because he likes video games and fantasy. Rona answers that it is partly true, but the main reason is that he dislikes humans and struggles to deal with them. That is why he thought teaching non-human students would suit him better. Hearing this, all the girls are shocked. Tobari asks why he hates humans. Rigwa replies that he has many reasons, and they insist he explain because their goal is to become human. With no other option, Rabe tells them that humans are selfish and careless, and they take advantage of those who are kind. He says that honesty is rarely rewarded, and no matter how hard you try to please others, one mistake is enough for people to trample over you. That is why, seeing how excited they are to join the human world, he felt unsettled. Tobari interrupts him and says that she cannot help but admire humans. Kayuka agrees, explaining that human culture, human behavior, and human desires are completely new and fascinating to them. As Ray continues, Sui snaps at him to be quiet, adding that there are many things they would lose if they became human. Isaki agrees, saying the non-human world also has its own hardships. Because of this, Tobari says she feels humans are not as terrible as Ray makes them sound. She then asks what he thinks. Ray repeats that he hates humans, but now there is uncertainty in his voice. That night, back at home, Ray wonders what he is doing. He worries that after his harsh words, the girls probably no longer trust him and that he ruined their first impression of him. The next day, when class ends, the girls cheer because it is lunchtime. Kyuka wonders what the dorm caretaker cooked today. Hearing this, Rhea casually asks about life in the dorms. Sui becomes irritated and tells him he did not phrase his question correctly. Ray rephrases and asks whether they all get along well in the dormitory. Sui gives a cold response, telling him not to intrude on their personal lives. Then Kyuka asks if Ray plans to eat in the dining hall, and if he does, she would like to join him. Ray thanks her, taking this as a chance to get to know them better. Sue immediately confronts Kyuka, accusing her of trying to win over the teacher. Kyuka calmly asks if Sue also wants to join them. The pink-haired girl answers yes without hesitation. Watching them argue, Ray blushes and admits that even though they are his students, seeing girls fight over him makes him flustered, especially since he never expected such attention. Siwei quickly corrects him and explains that they are fighting to earn points, not because of him. Rei already knew this, but hearing it out loud still stings. Because of the rising tension, Kyoka suggests that they all eat together in the dining hall. Tobari agrees and the others follow. In the next scene, Rei returns after buying something. He feels relieved, noticing that the girls do not seem to have lost much trust in him. Suddenly, he hears a scream. He rushes toward the sound, but Sui yells at him to be quiet. When he looks at Kyoka, he notices she is trembling non-stop. Concerned, he steps closer to her and asks what is wrong. The light blue-haired girl explains that there has been a mistake with her meal. Tobari clarifies that Kyoka cannot eat kamaboko. Kyoka confirms this, explaining that since she is a mermaid, fish and seafood do not sit well with her. She has learned to tolerate grilled fish and sashimi, but kamaboko feels too cruel for her. Rei understands this because it is made by grinding fish into paste. Hearing that, Kyoka begins trembling again. Sui scolds Rei for frightening her, and he quickly apologizes. Kyoka then admits that she feels awful about leaving food that was prepared with care. Rei is just about to offer to switch meals with her when Isaki steps forward first. Kyoka gratefully thanks her and even calls her a hero. Isaki hands her an omelet and goes as far as feeding it to her directly. Rei is stunned, thinking to himself that he did not expect gestures like this to happen so casually in real life. He even wonders if this is normal behavior in an all-girls school. Suddenly, Kyoka screams again, this time because of shikuwasa. Without thinking, Rei sacrifices himself and eats it immediately, only to choke by accident. As he reaches for his tea, Tobari snatches the cup from his hands and begins explaining some traditions related to it to the girls. Rei cannot hold back anymore and yells at them to give the cup back. Once he finally drinks it, he sighs in relief and admits he almost died. Kyoka then thanks him for risking himself for her, and the other girls praise him as well, though Sui quickly brings him back to reality with her usual blunt attitude. Rei simply smiles, and as he watches them interact, he wonders if maybe he really can fit into this place. On a new work day, Rei walks to his post. As he moves along the path, he looks at his ring and recalls what the director explained to him. He must always wear the ring and never lose track of it. The ring cancels the anti-perception spell, which allows him to enter the campus, but it has another important purpose. If he removes it outside the school, he will lose all his memories related to this place, replacing them with false ones. Humans must never discover the school's existence. If Rie ever stops working there, he must return the ring. If he chooses to remove it and forget everything so he can live as a normal human, his memories can still return if he touches the ring again. For safety, the director advised him to give the ring to another teacher for safekeeping and collect it when needed. Returning to the present, Rei says that he will begin from zero as a new teacher at Shaoi School. When he arrives, he hears a scream. He goes inside to investigate, but Sui immediately tells him to keep quiet. Rei approaches Kyoka and asks what is wrong. There was another mix-up with her meal. She was given satsuma aj, a fried fish cake, which she cannot eat. Rei offers to exchange meals, but Tobari quickly steps in and feeds Kyoka her own food, placing it directly into her mouth. Rei thinks that he would probably help the same way, but doing something like that might be considered inappropriate and could get him into trouble. He then notices that each girl has a different lunch. Isaki explains that they are usually served human food to help them get used to it, but today they were given their favorite meals so they would not feel overwhelmed. This makes sense to Rei because food prepared for humans might be confusing or unpleasant for non-human students. For example, Minazuki eats only seaweed and avoids fish, Usami eats only carrots, and Ogami prefers large amounts of meat. Tobari is the most balanced because she is an omnivorous bird. This detail makes Rei curious, so he asks Tobari if eating eggs bothers her. She replies that it does not, because she is not a chicken. Rei decides not to think too deeply about it, and comments that preparing such a wide variety of meals must be very challenging. However, the risk of them eating each other does not exist because they are humanoid beings. Usami even threatens Ugami jokingly if she ever thinks of eating her. All of this makes Rei realize how much he still needs to learn. Tobari then asks if he has free time after lunch because they will have physical education and he can learn more about them in the gym. Rei agrees. The scene then shifts to a physical education class. They continue practicing the dance they started earlier. Usami dances first, followed by Ugami, then Tobari, and finally Minazuki. Although Minazuki looks more like she is playing than dancing, it is obvious she is enjoying herself and feels grateful to be watched. The teacher thanks them for participating and says she is glad they enjoyed the lesson as much as she did. She adds that if Minazuki improves her rhythm and posture, she will dance much better. Minazuki promises to keep that advice in mind. Suddenly, the teacher experiences trouble with the radio and asks Rei to stay behind for a bit to watch the girls while she goes to find a replacement. Rei agrees. She leaves, assuring them she will not take long. Rei takes a moment to admire the beautiful old radio, but soon hears the girls arguing. Sui tells Kyuka that she is terrible at dancing. The blue-haired girl apologizes and explains that she simply got carried away. Even so, Sui continues insisting that she dances poorly, even though she claims to love it. Sui bluntly says that Kyuka is not good at dancing and never will be, even if she becomes human. Rei steps in and asks Sui not to say that. However, Sui insists that she is only stating the truth, and that life would be easier if wanting something were enough to master it. Rei is about to continue speaking, but Kyuka stops him and tells him not to worry. She admits that she agrees to some extent because she knows she dances very badly. Still, she is certain that no one loves dancing more than she does. She explains that she has risked everything to be at this school, and she will not give up easily. Because of her strong desire, Kyuka believes her determination is sincere, and that she will prove that determination alone can lead to success. Sui becomes irritated with this attitude and claims that Kyuka only sounds confident because she already given up deep down, hiding her frustration behind arrogance. Kyuka calmly replies that her desire to learn is far stronger than any frustration she feels. Sui argues that Kyuka does not truly believe that and claims the real reason she does not feel upset is that she looks down on others. Kyuka firmly denies it. Holding Sui's hand, she tells her that she is an admirable person and that she has learned many things from her. She explains that Sui always strives for perfection, sets high goals, and constantly pushes herself to improve, and these are qualities she respects deeply. Hearing this, Sui blushes and shouts at her to be quiet. After classes end, Rei meets Kyuka in the hallway and asks if she has a moment to talk. She agrees. Rei tells her that she handled everything amazingly well, even with Sui's harsh criticism. She points out that a lack of sleep has affected his skin and asks if he wants her to talk to him using Isaki tonic. Shocked, Rei asks if she is really Isaki Ugami. The wolf girl confirms it and asks if he could not tell, explaining that this is the first time he has seen her like this. Now that he pays closer attention, Rei notices that she truly is the same person, only dressed differently and carrying a completely different energy. Isaki leans closer and asks if he likes her or if there is a reason he keeps staring at her. Rei insists he is only surprised because she looks different. Isaki assumes he is right and playfully adds that no one expected her to have such a great figure. Flustered, Rei tells her to stop. He then asks why her personality changed so drastically. The girls remind him that she is a werewolf, and during a full moon, her personality shifts dramatically, something they casually refer to as a split personality. Hisaki adds that since a full moon will rise tonight, this version of herself is attending school for the first time in quite a while. Rei asks if this Isaki is different from the usual one. She nods and explains that the normal Isaki remembers everything this version sees and hears. Because of that, the usual Isaki will remember everything that happens today. For this reason, she warns him not to try anything strange around her. The protagonist grows confused because she keeps referring to herself in the third person. He then asks if they share the same name. Slightly irritated, Isaki walks to the board and writes out the differences, explaining that one name is written in kanji and the other in hiragana. Rei, of course, does not understand any of it. Later during the break, Isaki approaches Rei and asks which of her lipsticks looks nicer. Rei questions whether there is even a difference, but Isaki explains that one is coral pink and the other is blossom pink. Rei clearly cannot tell them apart, but Isaki tells him she planned to choose the color he liked more. She says she noticed he has an otaku aura and assumed he would prefer modest girls. She then asks what type of girl he likes. Rei begins describing his ideal woman and concludes that she is the modest type. Everything he says sounds incredibly specific to Isaki. After hearing this, the girls immediately assume he has feelings for someone and urge him to reveal who it is. He avoids answering, They insist that saying it out loud would make him feel better, but Rei refuses firmly. Realizing they will get nowhere, the girls eventually give up. However, Isaki remarks that since he prefers modest girls, she will do her makeup as a modest girl. Rei wonders if different types of girls exist the same way she claims, but he lets it go and tells her she looks like a completely different student. A sudden panel shift reveals a memory, a younger Isaki trapped in a small cell during a full moon. She wonders if everything is her fault. She begs to know what she did wrong to be called mixed blood. She asks why she cannot be like everyone else, and why she alone transforms into a human. Back in the present, Isaki playfully asks Rei to guess which lipstick she finally chose. Rei focuses on the color and says she picked coral pink. Isaki confirms this and asks what he thinks of it. Without meaning to, Rei replies that it looks fine and that it looks tasty. The girls immediately stare at him in confusion. Realizing what he just said, Rei turns pale. The girls conclude that he must be a pervert. Rei tries to clarify that he meant the mint flavor of the lipstick, but no one believes him. During lunch, the girls notice that Rei's meal is not very nutritious. They suggest he should eat more vegetables. Isaki offers him some of her salad dressing and gives him 2 hefty scoops. Rei manages to swallow them, though it is difficult. Isaki is surprised he ate all of it. Rei asks why she assumed it would be too much for him. Laughing awkwardly, she apologizes. Later, Rei sits in the teacher's lounge, telling Yuki Saotome what happened. Yuki understands his shock, explaining that she was also surprised the first time she saw Isaki after the full moon, since she seemed like an entirely different person. Rei agrees, adding that even though her personality changes completely, she still feels the same in several ways, which makes her harder to understand. Yuki asks what he means. Rei explains that the usual Isaki has low energy and appears shy, yet her calmness allows her to listen carefully to others. Meanwhile, the full moon Isaki is energetic and overwhelming, but her keen awareness lets her empathize with those around her. Their manners differ, yet both versions naturally fit in with their friends. Seeing how deeply he has thought about it, Yuki says she is surprised he managed to understand Isaki in just one day, since it took her more time. At that moment, Professor Satoru Hoshino enters the room and remarks that wolves are pack animals. Rei asks what he means. Satoru explains that the group Isaki belongs to now, meaning her friends, is her pack. This confuses Rei because if her friends are so important to her, he does not understand why she chose to leave her original wolf pack and strive to become human. Later, class ends. Rei asks Isaki to stay for a moment. She teasingly calls him a pervert and asks what he wants from her. Rei tells her he only has one question. He asks why she wants to become human. Upon hearing this, Isaki says she has her own reasons and tries to walk away. Rei stops her and insists she answer him. Isaki makes it clear that her reasons are none of Rei's concern. Hearing this, Rei apologizes, which makes her feel guilty, so she agrees to explain. Rei asks why she said she wanted to become human so she could leave behind her incomplete existence. He asks if that means her 2 personalities would become one. Isaki confirms this and tells him to think about it for a moment, because no one would want their personality to change only during the full moon. She says the normal Isaki feels the same way. Before coming to the school, she once overheard someone saying that they hated her so much that they wished she would die. That painful comment left her wondering if she was truly unwanted. To her, the idea seemed believable because she felt like no one needed her. For that reason, she believes it would be better if only one Isaki existed in her body. She wants to grant that wish and erase the other self so the normal Isaki can remain. Rei then asks what she wants. Not the normal Isaki, but the one standing in front of him now. Isaki hesitates and says she believes the normal version has suffered too much because of her. Because of that, she feels she does not have the right to think about her own desires. She explains that while she is indeed a wolf woman, she is not a typical one. Most wolf people are humans who transform when they see the full moon. For her, it is the opposite. She is a wolf who lives with her pack, but transforms into a human when the full moon rises. In this human state, she should not have ears or a tail, but because of the school's barrier, she resembles the normal Isaki more closely. Rei understands that Isaki wants to become a complete human, so she will no longer make the normal version suffer. In other words, her human body exists because of the normal Isaki's influence. She confirms this. However, Rei asks whether her disappearance is truly the normal Isaki's wish as well. Isaki says yes, or at least that is what she believes. Although they share everything they see and hear, they do not share thoughts or emotions. She tells Rei that he could ask the normal Isaki tomorrow, but she only appears once a month and is usually overwhelmed. Isaki continues, saying she is certain the normal version wants the same thing, remembering a painful experience from her past. When she was still a wolf, she once asked her mother why she became a different person during the full moon. Her mother explained that human blood flowed through her veins and that cubs like her were sometimes born. The memory shifts to the moment she was locked away, wondering why she was called a half-breed. She questions whether it was because she had no ears or tail, or because she had done something wrong. She remembers the other wolves bullying her, biting her, calling her human, and insisting she did not belong in their pack. She recalls asking the moon why she was different, and whether it was wrong to be incomplete. In her heart, she believed that if only one version of herself existed, wishing to be fully human, everything would improve. Returning to the present, it is revealed that Isaki has not come to class for 2 weeks. The girls explain that she has locked herself in her room ever since the full moon and refuses to let anyone see her, insisting that she is fine. Later that night, Rei is playing video games as usual when his mother steps into his room and tells him to keep it down. She then asks how school is going. Rei answers that everything is fine, so his mother simply reminds him not to build up too much stress before leaving. Her comment leaves him feeling slightly uneasy. Over the next several days, Rei and the girls attend classes as usual, but Isaki still does not return, which worries him. One night, after staying late at school to finish some work, Rei decides to check the building before heading home. With a flashlight in hand, he walks around to make sure all the windows are properly locked. At that moment, he hears a noise coming from the advanced classroom. Nervous, he considers going to check, but the flashlight suddenly dies. Even so, he forces himself to calm down and approaches the door. When the light flickers back on, he sees a silhouette inside. Both Rei and the mysterious figure scream. After hearing the voice, Rei realizes that it is Isaki. Once they settle down, they sit and talk. Rei asks why she is there. Isaki explains that she was passing by when she noticed an open window. Curious about how the classroom looked at night, she climbed a tree and jumped in through the window. Rei remembers that they are on the 3rd floor, meaning she used her animal abilities inside the school, something that could cost her points. Pushing that aside, he asks if she is alright, or if something happened to her on the night of the full moon. Isaki begins to cry and apologizes, saying she never wanted to cause him trouble. Rei reassures her, telling her it was nothing serious. Isaki admits that she avoided everyone because she always ends up saying the wrong thing at the worst times, causing people to misunderstand her. Rei gently asks what she means. Isaki confesses that she heard his conversation with the human version Isaki. However, she insists that the human version would never truly feel that way toward her. She says the one the human Isaki hates is the wolf version. She explains that because of this, she wants the human Isaki personality to remain and erase herself. She does not understand why the human one thinks she hates her when everything she has done was for her sake. Through tears, she asks why the person who should understand her better than anyone cannot see her intentions clearly. She calls herself a worthless version who only hurts those she loves and runs away. Even now, she says she is crying and complaining, acting selfishly and thinking only of herself. Rei gently tells her that humans get confused easily. They only see what stands in front of them. They imagine things they cannot see, and they misunderstand. He says he knows this because he used to be the same way. That is why humans express their feelings through words, so others can understand their true meaning. He encourages Isaki to tell her other self what she truly feels, to simply say who she is and what she wants. Isaki says that she wants the human Isaki to become human and that she loves her more than anyone in the world. But the most important thing she has always wanted to say is very simple. Through tears, she says she loves the other Isaki very much. Rei thanks her for saying it. We then see the normal Isaki in her room, writing in a notebook to speak to her other self for the first time. She begins by apologizing for the misunderstanding that started everything. She admits that when she said, "I want to be human," she believed she understood exactly what she meant because Isaki is human. Now she realizes that she misunderstood herself. She recalls telling the teacher that the other Isaki was suffering because of her and that she herself was the cause. She never expected that two versions of the same person could blame themselves so deeply. She writes that it is difficult to understand each other without expressing things openly, even when two people are closer than anyone else could ever be. She suggests that they take turns writing in the same notebook every day. She finishes the message, hoping for a reply. 1 month later, Rei arrives in class and sees the human version of Isaki appear. She asks if he remembers that Isaki said terrible things last month. Rei asks which version she means. Continuing the conversation, she shows him the notebook where she wrote her message. Since they share memories, she already knows what it says. From now on, the two of them will keep a shared diary where they write what they think and feel. She explains that she now wants to remain as Isaki, but she also wants to become human so she can wear cute clothes and makeup. Because of that, they will be communicating with each other a lot. She says she just wanted him to know this, thanks him for his help, and walks away. Rei watches her leave and comments that everything passed like a storm. Izaki and the gang are playing in a river with their water guns, enjoying the moment to its fullest. Hitamo, on the other hand, sits nearby and indulges himself in his games. Izaki calls out to him and invites him to join them since they have come all the way from school to this river to enjoy. Hitamo refuses and tells them that he is enjoying himself plenty by playing video games. He then asks them to be careful not to lose their rings. These rings were given to him by Dwarf. The principal told him that these 4 are the director's gemstone rings. If any of their students leave the school barrier, they turn back to their non-human forms, making them unable to enter the school again. However, if they wear these rings, they can stay in their human form even if they leave the school barrier. He adds a warning that losing these rings will have dire consequences. Hitamo asks the principal how bad the consequences will be. The principal tells him that it is entirely up to the director to decide. Based on the situation, Hitamo explains to the girls that if they lose their rings, they won't be able to go back to school. Kyuka and Tobari also invite him to come and play in water. Hitamo tells them that a shut-in person like him can't play with feral brats like them. Usami splashes water at Hitamo with her water gun, telling him that she is not feral. She explains that she has spent her entire life with humans. Hitamo asks her if she was really a pet rabbit for humans and not a wild one. Usami splashes him again, telling him it's none of his business. Hitamo takes out his water gun as well and tells the girls that he is going to demonstrate his FPS gaming skills to them right now. The girls all gather up and prepare themselves to fight off Hitamo together. Afterwards, Usami and Hitamo go to the principal's office. He tells them that there is something he would like to talk about regarding Seiko Kazaki. The principal tells them that during Seiko's checkup they found a serious health problem, and she has been hospitalized. The principal tells Usami that she doesn't look good. Hitamo then asks the principal if Seiko is Usami's owner. The principal tells him that he is absolutely correct. Seiko, 76 years old, is Usami's owner. He further adds that he will talk with the director and get Usami a 24-hour special leave to the outside world. However, this can only be possible if Usami agrees to return to her original form. Then the principal will take her to Seiko. He asks Usami about her decision. She asks for some time to think about it. Later, the school time ends. Usami is still in class, and Hitamo comes in and asks her why she hasn't left yet. He tells her that he doesn't know any details, so he cannot say anything. However, he tells her that she can talk to the principal and get her leave anytime she wants. Usami tells her that it is pointless to see Seiko in her old form since Seiko won't know how Usami feels. Hitamo tells her that she can't speak in her old form, but she can move, so there is plenty she can do to convey her feelings. Usami sits down and tells Hitamo that he knows nothing. In truth, Usami's original form isn't a rabbit, but a stuffed rabbit doll. She remembers all the past times when Seiko talked to her as if she were really listening. Usami really wished to be able to talk because she had a lot to talk about with her. Usami tells Hitamo that she wants to meet Seiko in this form. However, neither the principal nor the director will allow that. So she asks him to help her. She asks him to lend her one of the director's gemstone rings. Hitamita refuses and tells her that he cannot do that since all those rings are locked in the principal's office. She then asks him for his own ring. He tells her that he cannot do that either, since it will lead to docked points towards graduation. This will cause trouble in Usami's graduation. Usami tells him that she didn't come to this school to graduate in the first place. She explains that her only wish is to be human and stay by Seiko's side. She tells him that she will do anything if he can do this one favor on her. Her eyes begin to wet as she begs Hitamo to help her. She makes him another offer. She tells him that he can come along with her. This way, there will be no need for Hitamo to be scared. Hitamo gets flashbacks and realizes that he is really scared of hurting his students again, being the reason for someone's misery, and scared of betrayal. Usami moves her hand forward, asking him to help her. Hitamo asks her if she is prepared to face any consequences. She agrees, and both of them shake hands. Later, Hitamo waits for her nearby as Usami comes there to avoid being seen by anyone. They both meet up by the cherry tree, a place where the barrier's range ends. Hitamo tells her that she will need the ring to get out of here while staying in her human form. He explains that anything he touches can pass through the barrier as long as he is in contact. He tells her that in order for her to stay in her human form and meet Seiko, she will need to hold his hand and stay in contact. She holds her hand and both of them head out. They travel by bus and Hitamo looks at time. The hospital visiting hours end by 7 p.m. This means Usami will have an hour at most with Seiko. They finally reach the hospital and wait by the door. Hitamo asks Usami if she will be all okay from here on out, because it will be easier for her to talk to Seiko if he is not there. He tells her that he will let her hold onto the ring until she can finish meeting up with Seiko and coming back to him. He explains that taking off this ring will mean that he will lose all memories of the school. However, this doesn't apply to Usami, and once she brings back the ring to him, he will regain his memories. She asks him if he really wants her to go alone to see her. He tells her that he took sleeping pills since he stayed up all night playing video games. They both wait outside until Hitamo falls asleep. She then takes the ring and goes in to meet with Seiko. She explains to Seiko that she is Usami, the stuffed rabbit who is always by her side. She offers him kalpis, her favorite drink, which she had the first time she met with Ken. Seiko cannot believe it and asks her if she is really her rabbit Usami. She takes off her hat to show her bunny ears to Seiko. She notices the bunny clip she had on Usami. Usami then explains that Seiko felt really sad when she lost Ken 4 years ago. Seiko begins to realize that she is indeed Usami. Their eyes begin to wet as they both finally come to a common ground. Usami apologizes to her for leaving her suddenly and tells her that there is a lot that she wants to talk with her about. They both share an emotional moment and shed tears of joy. Usami is finally relieved that she was able to convey her feelings to her. Later, Usami tells her that she will become human and will never leave her side again. Seiko tells her that in truth, she has only 1 month left to live, so she can't be with her anymore. Usami begins to break. Her eyes that shed tears of joy begin to fall in sorrow. She regrets trying to be human and wishes that she should have stayed by her side as her stuffed animal. Seiko comforts her and asks her if she likes anything else besides her. Usami explains that school isn't a bad place, as she gets to learn new things, and she doesn't hate humans either. Seiko asks her if she has come here all alone. Usami tells her that she came with her teacher Hitamo, and he was considerate enough to let them talk in private. She teases Usami, asking her if she has a crush on him. The nurse comes in as their visiting hours have ended. Seiko and Usami bid each other goodbye. Usami comes back to Hitamo and understands what she has to do in the future. She wants to help humans and become a doctor so they can spend more time with their loved ones. Hitamo doesn't recognize her because he doesn't have the ring. Usami leaps onto him and holds his hand, and he regains his memories. The next morning, Hitamo gets a lecture from the principal. He gets punished with a pay cut for 3 months. Usami got suspended for a week and lost 150 points needed for her to become human. Just then, Usami comes into the office to Hitamo and Hoshino. She tells Hitamo to teach her well so she can become a good doctor one day. Rei relaxes in his seat. He just made another song after ages, and it turned out pretty well. He opens his old YouTube account thinking he should upload the video, and finds out that he has more followers than before, and now he's ready to rival Mr. Beast. The teacher hits upload and goes on his way. The next day, he sits in his office making the midterm exam answer sheet so that it will be helpful for his students when they enter the human world. He just needs to keep updating the material. Suddenly, some piled up files fell onto his desk from the desk belonging to teacher Hoshino. We got Hoshino files after Epstein files. He wishes that the other teacher could clear up the mess on his desk once in a while, and then asks himself how the other teacher manages to find anything in this mess. His stomach rumbles with hunger as he realizes that, with all the work this week, he did not have time for lunch. Suddenly, he remembers that he had bought premium sushi from the store for this specific lunch day. He had gotten his pay the other day and decided to waste it on premium sushi like a true consumer. The teacher quickly takes out the lunchbox and starts opening the soy sauce packet. But the stubborn package doesn't budge. He uses his full force to tear open the packet, resulting in a spilled pile of soy sauce on his work desk. Panicking, he grabs the nearest napkin from the table and wipes the soy sauce. Soon enough, he realizes that the handkerchief belonged to teacher Hoshino. He enters full panic mode, trying to clean the cloth by scrubbing and rubbing, but the soy sauce stain remains visible on it. He reaches the advanced classroom and stares at the stained piece of cloth, regretting his life choices. Just then, Haneda appears, asking if something is wrong. The teacher panics again and hides the handkerchief, distracting her by tricking her. Haneda tells him that his trick isn't working since she heard everything. The teacher asks how much she heard. The student told him from the time he was working on the midterm exam. The student suggests that he should tell teacher Hoshino about the mishap and goes away to call him. Hinato tries to stop her, and before he could regulate his emotions, teacher Hoshino was in front of him. Hoshino asks what's wrong. Hinato shows him the handkerchief in shame. As realization dawns on Hoshino, he reveals that the handkerchief was given to him by his wife on his birthday. What a low-effort gift, honestly. But that shocks the other teacher even more that Hoshino is actually married. The other teacher smiles, thanking him for finding the lost handkerchief, saying that his wife was going to be mad at him. Hinato reveals that he found the cloth under the pile and apologizes for the soy sauce stain. Hoshino tells him that it's okay and goes on his way. Hinato looks at Hinata and thinks about how the bird has always been top of the class, and how she wants to be a human so she can pursue her career in music. The next day, Haneda excuses herself, saying that her stomach hurts. Hinato suggests that she should take Usami with her. Haneda shyly tells otherwise, but Usami scolds her, saying that she can't leave a sick person alone. After the girls leave for the infirmary, Isaki and Kyoko worry about what could happen since their current bodies are those of model-healthy teenagers. After a while, Hinato goes to the infirmary. She tells him that Haneda always gets sick during this time of the year, so he should probably have a talk with her. Haneda comes out after a nap and asks if the teacher is here for her. Haneda tries to find a common interest between them and asks what kind of music she is into these days. Haneda laughs, asking if he sounds like a worried dad of a teenager. Hinato laughs but keeps asking. She reveals that lately she enjoys otamad music with a creator named Hinato on YouTube. Hinato internally screams, finding any excuse to hide his alter ego, and excuses himself. Haneda accompanies him and calls him inconsiderate, saying that he could have brought her belongings before visiting the nurse's office. He tells her that one wrong move will get him sexual harassment allegations if he meddles with his female students' belongings. Haneda wishes that he could leave the school like Haneda, but she tells him to keep working hard. The teacher reveals that he knows all about her tuitions she has been giving Usami, and they have been helpful, bringing her grades up. She tells him that she's also observant like the teacher, pointing out how he looks sad with a faraway look in his eyes. Haneda tells him to tell her everything that worries him, even if it's from the past. The teacher tells her about the female student in his previous school who asked for his help, but he only made it worse. She ended up leaving the school after complaining that he physically punished her in front of the board of directors. Haneda calmly listens to him and says that time heals, and she is glad he got fired since she likes having him here. She slowly corners him and asks if he wants to run away somewhere. Soon she takes him to the rooftop and suddenly she hugs him back. Hinato loses his senses and tries not to think about anything weird, and soon feels like he is floating. He opens his eyes to find himself suspended in the air while Haneda holds him. The female bird student tells him to get comfortable and look around. He soon settles down and looks at the sky. She tells him to look around and feel the sky and says that she always wanted to show him the view. Later, they get down as Hinato wonders if there is something he can do to repay her for thinking so kindly about him. The teacher tells her to sing him a song she likes. The student gets shy and asks if it's really necessary but agrees. Haneda closes her eyes, feels the wind around her, and starts singing. The voice gets carried away in the sky and reaches Usami, Isaki, and Kyuka, who all smile thinking about Haneda. Isaki comes to talk to Hinato in the class, telling him that she and the other personality have both decided on having their separate human forms. Hinato makes a confused face, but Isaki explains that both of the personalities clash with each other, and after a lot of discussion, they have decided to get separated as humans. Hinato asks if it's even possible, but the student explains that the option was always on the table for her since the director told them it's their decision to make. Hinato understands now as he asks if one of the human forms is going to pursue a university degree in liberal arts What would the other Isaki be doing now? The girl's eyes get tearful and she reveals that she didn't even think about it, leaving the teacher dumbfounded. Later, during the classroom session, Hinato explains that it is time for the final assignments for the advanced class, and the director and the principal together will assign them tasks, and they have to complete them in order to become human. Usami dejectedly reveals that the task is of no use to her since 150 points have been deducted from her side after she got caught sneaking on campus. Hinato imitates the principal, saying that the final assignments can challenge them in ways they are not taught in classrooms. With that, he announces that they have until February to submit their assignments. After a while, Kawaka is the first one to enter. She tells him about her final assignment, which is to look for the director's gems. She shows him the hints containing the gems' locations. Usami informs him that her task is to collect signatures from every person who is enrolled on campus, and adds how her task is easy, or maybe they think she's dumb. Haneda reveals that her assignment is to write a sports anthem for their field day next year. Haneda smiles at that, thinking they all got the tasks that suit them. A shy voice appears in the corner as Asami reveals that her assignment is to write a 20,000-character novella with a cast of 5 or more people. Hinata smiles again, thinking that with the tasks being super easy, he can imagine the students completing them by January. On January 24, he asks how their assignments are coming along. Haneda tells him that her work is in process as she is already done with the melody, lyrics, and chorus. Haneda gets amazed as she seems to be working on everything altogether. He moves to Usami, asking what's up with her. The girl tells him that even though she talked to everyone on campus, her task seems impossible, and shows her notebook to the teacher, which contained different types of paw prints, and the principal doesn't count the paw prints as legitimate signatures. He gives her courage and moves on to Asami, who seems to be talking to herself, asking why her characters are moving on their own. He understands that the other girl is also struggling. Lastly, Kyuka tells him how she solved the first hint, which was a crossword puzzle, but she's still figuring out the next puzzle, though her work is coming along. Hinato assures them that there's a month left, so they should not stress but focus on their work. On January 31st, Haneda announces that she is done with her task and happily explains that she just needs a yes from the principal, and she will be done. Everyone congratulates her on being the first one to complete the task. Haneda asks how the others' assignments are coming along. Usami proudly replies that she has been giving classes to the beginner class to teach them how to write, while Usami explains that her story's plot has gotten big and the word count is now over 20,000, as the characters have taken the plot into their own hands. Haneda asks if Kolka needs her help since she hasn't made any progress yet, but the girl politely declines, saying that it's her work and she should be the one doing it. On February 7th, Isaki finishes her novella with minimum of 20,000 words with a proper ending this time. She tells Hinedo that she seems to love writing and coming up with stories. On February 14th, Usami's signature book comes to a finish. It took a lot of work to teach them. Hinato observes the book and congratulates the girl. Kyoka sits looking worried when Isaki offers her help, saying that she shouldn't think twice before asking for their help. But she refuses. Unable to take it anymore, Usami directly asks what part she's having difficulty with, but the girl smiles, refusing Usami again. Kayuka stands up and says that she holds a lot of pride, so she can't ask for their help, but the whole point of the assignment is to do it yourself, since it's designed personally. Usami tells her to stop taking care of everything by herself, but the girl stays clear, saying that she has to observe how long she can take it. Only 1 week is left before the deadline. Hinata worries if Kyuka is done with her assignment yet, when suddenly Isaki jumps on him asking how he's doing. She understands and asks if today is the full moon, but the girl asks if Kyoka and Usami are fighting. Isaki comes up with a plan to make her reveal the problem by herself over a dinner she arranged. Everything is prepared, and she asks about the assignment. Kyoka reveals that the second problem is the hardest. After a while, Usami apologizes for her behavior as Hinato explains that if they want to become human, they must understand that humans depend on each other. Kyoka finally understands and asks for their help. They all get together to solve the puzzle, and Usami helps her by bringing the chart from the beginner class. With that, they find further clues. The last problem asks for a confession, and Isaki screams knowing something, but she refuses, telling them to ask the other version. The next day, Isaki takes them to a tree where her novella is based. Kiyuka asks Haneda's help to get down the box placed above the tree, where they find the gem. The principal announces that the one who meets all standards and is graduating is Kiyuka. Thus, this news shocked everyone.